I have always had suicidal tendencies. I have never cared much about living or dying, except for the fact that I have often considered death as the end of all torment. But the fact is that death sometimes also scares me. Nevermind, produced by Butch Vig and mixed by Andy Wallace, besides being the absolute masterpiece of Nirvana, also constitutes one of the last peaks reached in rock music. The title can be translated as "It Doesn't Matter" and refers to the detachment of youth from real problems. More explicitly, the concept of Menefreghismo, a couldn't-care-less attitude, captures the idea perfectly. The music of this full-length album is a deadly mixture of unspeakable anguish, restlessness, frustration, and pain that flows note after note like lava from a volcano, enveloping the listener in antithetical atmospheres, sometimes calm, almost ethereal, and at other times convulsive, rabid, and steeped in inner devastation. The mentor of it all is the charismatic leader Kurt Cobain, with his peculiar acidic and heart-rending vocalism and his guitar capable of producing agonizing sounds, alternated with crystalline harmonies. The record was released on September 24, 1991, and is the second work of the American lineup following the promising Bleach in 1989, as well as their first recorded for a major label. The beautiful and far too significant cover portrays a 4-month-old baby. His name is Spencer Eldon, photographed in a swimming pool in Pasadena, California, while chasing a dollar bill hooked on a fishing line. The platter is practically perfect and contains 12 tracks, plus a ghost track that represent the quintessence of grunge music. It is a genre classifiable as alternative rock that developed in Seattle, starting from the second half of the 1980s. In practice, it is the result of a fusion between various sounds: punk, heavy, hardcore, and hard rock, which, besides Nirvana, of course, was brought to prominence by historic bands like Alice in Chains, the Pixies, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, and the Stone Temple Pilots. The opening track is the world-famous "Smells Like Teen Spirit," structured in a very simple way, but devastating like a hurricane. Dave Grohl's drum work is splendid, while Cobain's enveloping guitar solo, which takes up the melodic line of the vocals, is one of the most beautiful in the history of rock music. The subsequent In Bloom begins with a mournful bass line and is characterized by a melodious rhythm and a rapid refrain. Come As You Are is another masterpiece, with Chris Novoselic's bass dominating the track, and yet another spine-chilling guitar solo. The lyrics speak, among other things, of Kurt's insecurity in relating to others, although he is still ready to accept them. Breed has a wild rhythm, decidedly more oriented toward hardcore/punk. Lithium is a true gem, suspended between melancholy and the incisiveness of the chorus. Polly catapults the listener into a more harmonious dimension and is distinguished by Kurt's captivating voice. For the lyrics, he found inspiration in a true event that happened in Tacoma in June 1987. A 14-year-old girl returning from a punk concert was kidnapped by a man who hung her upside down, raped her, and tortured her. Fortunately, the girl managed to escape, and the criminal was arrested. Punk dominates in territorial pissings, which resumes hammering without mercy. Drain You, with beautiful lyrics talking about love, and Lounge Act have an overall carefree and pleasant pace. In the latter song, Novoselic is highlighted in an authentic state of grace. They return to more sustained rhythms with Stay Away, a driving song strangely never performed live. Cobain's mournful, almost repetitive voice dominates the excellent On a Plane. Spectacular is the intimate acoustic ballad Something in the Way, which features a collaboration with Kurt Cobain on cello and refers to a difficult period in Cobain's life when he was forced to live under a bridge in Aberdeen after being kicked out of his home. The track would be made immortal in the version contained in the MTV Unplugged in New York album of 1994. After 10 minutes of silence, endless, nameless, the ghost track explodes. Guitars distorted to the ultimate limit and wild screams attack you without mercy. Note that this song was not included in the first 50,000 copies of Nevermind. Everything has been said about Nirvana, the band of rock happy with the sickness of living, overrated, incapable of playing, only able to copy other bands like Husker Du or Sonic Youth. For example, critics often compare the magnificent introduction of Smells Like Teen Spirit with that of UMass by the Pixies, or the riff of Come As You Are with that of 80s by Killing Joke. Cobain, then, is often judged as a mediocre, out-of-tune, and unlistenable singer. But perhaps someone is clearly mistaken, given that, among other things, Nevermind has sold over 25 million copies worldwide, and the authoritative Rolling Stone magazine ranks it at number 17 on its list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. I want to conclude with these words by Kurt Cobain. They serve as a presage to the imminent tragedy that would also put an end to Nirvana's existence after only 3 studio albums. The third being In Utero in 1993. I started getting high regularly after the success of Nevermind. I can't explain why, maybe because in reality I've always been a burnout. I'm trying to get out of it, but honestly, I can't say I've succeeded yet. But he never would. On April 5th, 1994, the exact day is actually uncertain. Cobain committed suicide with a shotgun blast, leaving a final warning. It's better to burn out than to fade away.